Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today's Inspire podcast. I'm so excited to be here in Scottsdale, Arizona for this Inspire podcast. This has been an incredible partnership that we're adding to the Integrity family. And here at Integrity, we've added some really special partnerships, but I don't think any quite like this. At Integrity, we really want to make sure that we're helping people plan for their life, health, and wealth in a holistic way. And I really believe that comprehensive planning will really better serve all the Americans that we take care of with their life, health, and wealth. And today we're incredibly excited to be joined here in the headquarters of the Annexus Group. And I'm excited to welcome my good friend, Ron Shurts, co-founder and CEO of Annexus. Ron, listen, buddy, we're so excited. Listen, for those of you who may not know that much about the Annexus Group, the Annexus Group is the largest developer and distributor of fixed indexed annuities, index universal life policies, and index-based wealth management products in the entire country. This is one of the most amazing stories I've ever seen. We've actually been working with Ron and his team for a long time. I've become friends with Ron for a long time, and watching them take this concept of wealth planning to a whole new level of demographics to make sure that we're bringing really Wall Street to Main Street and everywhere in between has been incredible to watch. And over the last almost 20 years, they've grown this to be one of the largest networks in the country with almost 100 employees here in their Scottsdale office. And I'm excited for you to learn more about really Ron in particular, but what a Nexus Group brings now to the Integrity family. So Ron, listen, your business is such an exceptional business. I mean, I think how you've gone to market, the integrity that you've had, frankly, and I don't use that word lightly, you've always had integrity in every aspect of your business. I would love to hear a little bit more about what exactly a Nexus does and maybe some of the size and scale that you guys bring.
Yeah, so obviously we're excited about being here, excited about being partners, and you and I have been talking about this for a while, and so we're excited about that. So Annexus is a product development company, so we actually invent the widget. And I think the concept that Don and I started back in 2005 was to basically be a virtual insurance company, right? So we build the widgets, we design the widgets, we price the widgets, we build the marketing brochures, we build the story, we build the technology, we build all the illustration systems. We're not an insurance company, so at some point in time it has to go on the insurance company's paper.
Right.
And so what it does for the insurance companies, it allows them to expand distribution and grow without adding all the infrastructure and the overhead, right? So we've got our own marketing team, actuarial team, product development team, all of the above. And then ultimately we throw it on the insurance company's paper. So our very first deal that we did, we started in 2005. Our very first deal we did was in 2006. We did it with a company in Topeka, Kansas called American Investors.
Sure.
And it was owned by a company called Ameris, ultimately got bought by a company called Aviva, which is now got bought by a company called Athene. And we launched our very first product. Really, you talk about integrity, Brian. We built a crediting methodology that was a hard story to tell at the point of sale, but we knew the value for the consumer. We launched in March of 2006 on a limited distribution. We interviewed hundreds of marketing groups around the country, and we selected a dozen to have access to our products. Right. Launched that in March of 2006, and our first full calendar year was 2007. We did $1 billion.
$1 billion of sell, your first year.
First full calendar year was $1 billion. Then we did $1.5 billion, $1.7 billion. Capital crunch hit. Fortunately for us, we had a really great partner in Aviva at the time. Kept the capital available for us to be able to continue to grow. That was 2009, 10, and we $2 billion, 2.2, and then crazy enough, we actually had interviewed Nationwide in 2005 and weren't ready to partner. Nationwide actually called us in 2012 and says, hey, we want to be in this space. We like the independent distribution space, we like the FIA space, but we don't really understand it. And that's kind of part of the story is we built a product with Nationwide. This is where our distribution structure comes into play. They wanted to be able to be in this space, but they didn't have the infrastructure to be able to or the expertise. And we launched our very first product with Nationwide in 2014. And our very first calendar year was 15. We did 2.2 billion with a B. And Nationwide actually had tried to get in the FIA space before, and the biggest year they ever had was 50 million. And so the rest of it just kind of started to come together, obviously where we are today with different distribution and different carrier partners. And so that's what we do. We invent the widgets. Now we have the Universal Life, Index Universal Life, and FIA products. And this year we'll probably do somewhere around that $7 billion range, about $150 million in target life through our distribution partners.
So if you think about $7 billion in sales this year alone. If you think about that, there's almost 7 billion people in the world. It's like getting $1 from every person in the world, in every corner of the world. I mean, it's remarkable if you think about it.
It's crazy. And if you put that in AUM terms, if you convert the insurance part to AUM terms, 7 billion is actually 70 billion AUM.
And AUM stands for assets under management. So it's 10x this size. And what you guys have been doing, when you say inventing the widget and kind of building this out, what you're doing is really creating the product, creating the right marketing strategy, creating everything that goes alongside of it. And then you have the carrier who's like the manufacturer to make sure that they've got it on their paper to underwrite the risk, make sure that they can stand behind it. And then you take it out to the distribution partners that you have, and you've got the best in the business, to then go out and market that product throughout their networks of agents. Now, you said 7 billion. You get caught up on that number. That's a massive number. But you also said you'll do 150 million of target life premium, which that in and of itself makes you one of the largest life insurance distributors in the country. And you're making sure that you're helping people not only on their wealth management needs, but also on their retirement needs. And now as part of Integrity, we really believe that people have truly this concern of making sure that they have the best life insurance coverage, the best health insurance coverage. And whenever they, especially as people get older, they don't want to take a lot of risks. And they want to make sure that they've got the best wealth products so that they can have a great time during retirement. And tell us a little bit more, for a lot of our partners here, they may not know really the power of an annuity. So you see the economy right now, and you look at the stock market, it's up and down all around. It's just nuts. You hear different things back in the market that's going on. And then you start thinking about just kind of what's happening. Tell us why an annuity is such an incredible product and service for that.
Well, I don't know that an annuity is necessarily. I think what we've been able to do is create this fixed indexed annuity where we can actually have our indexes inside of the product that give our client upside potential with no downside risk, right? I kind of call it sleepability insurance, right? The fact that as a client starts to get a little bit older and they start moving more of their money into an asset class that says, hey, I have no risk. So during this crazy time the last 6 months, none of our clients lost any money,
it's
right? Protected. And
so the market's down like 25-30%. I mean, it's just been crazy.
And believe it or not,
and then your annuity products are capped at, or they've got floor.
We actually have indexes that we've created that are actually up for the year. In addition to that, but on top of that, though, at certain points in time, whether it's a year or 2 year, we lock in the gain. So hypothetically, 2 years ago, the 100,000 went in, it's worth 120, it locks it at 120. So when you hit this skid, right, you can't ever go below 120. So we lock in the gains along the way in the structure. And so, again, it's not a place necessarily where a client's going to put 100% of their assets, but I can tell you that a portion of that portfolio fits, right? Absolutely. You can still have fixed income and equities and, bonds, but you can have part of your money in this, de-risk your portfolio by having part of the money has no risk. When you throw it on a company like a Nationwide paper, the client,
everybody knows.
Yeah, so we're partners with Nationwide and Goldman. So Goldman's managing the asset. It's on Nationwide's paper. Goldman Sachs. And so when you think about that and you're sitting at the point of sale with the client and you're having the conversation, that feels pretty good. Right?
And when you talk about Nationwide, I mean, you talk about name brand partners. You want to make sure you're partnering with people who've been around, they've been there for a long time, and that people can really relate to but also rely on. And I think everybody knows Nationwide is on your side. See, I don't want to sing it, bro. I don't want to sing it because I'm not Peyton Manning, but wasn't Peyton Manning and Brad Paisley, I think it is, but he's way better than I could ever sing it. But it truly, this partnership that you have with Nationwide has been a special partnership. And then creating the life insurance product that has the indexed universal life opportunity as well gives people an incredible opportunity to take care of their life insurance protection too.
Yeah, and Nationwide is a special partner. I mean, they're family to us, and it's been a great partnership. And when we launched our first product, I told you the first full calendar year we did $2.2 billion. Now we're in that $4+ billion range with those guys.
With them,
yeah, and we created a product called New Heights that had the indexes and the annuity part. And during that process, we talked about, okay, can we take that crediting methodology that we've designed underneath the hood, if you will, of the car, and can we plug it into an IUL, Index Universal Life? And we're able to do that. And we launched that product, I want to say, in 19. And that product in 21 did almost 100 million target in 2 short years because we created a credit methodology and a structure, and and then also the name brand that we created on the New Heights part on the FIA, we carry the exact same name over. So that name is well known in the industry. And we only give it to limited distribution.
It's incredible. And I think it's also incredible. We started Integrity in '05. You started Annexus in '05. We've been creating life insurance and health insurance products this whole time. You have been creating the best-in-class annuity products and life insurance products. So this opportunity to come together is just really special. Now, we've been doing this podcast for quite a while, and a lot of times people think, they look at you and they think, you must have been born with that smile on your face. You must be born this successful. Tell us about where you grew up and kind of some of your background.
It's kind of funny because, which is why you and I immediately hit it off the very first time we met. We come from the same place, right? I grew up in a little town with 1,000 people. My dad dropped out of school in 6th grade to support his brothers and sisters. My mom didn't go to college. But the one thing I got from my dad is that he's a grinder, right? I mean, no matter what, he's like, and his widget happened to be a hammer, right? Happened to be a construction guy. And actually, he was an entrepreneur because he worked for himself, but his widget was a hammer. Right, and so that's all I understood growing up, and I saw that, and I knew I didn't want to do that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I didn't want to do that, and so went to college for a couple of years, and I got a job selling pots and pans door to door, which you can relate to, right? And I got to be pretty good at it. And I'm like, my dad's in construction, now I'm in sales. Am I really in sales? I'm selling pots and pans door to door, and then ultimately got into the insurance side of the equation. I took that work ethic. Born and raised in Nebraska, left on Monday morning, come back on Friday. I went out and sold life insurance and annuities to farmers. And that's what I did, which is very similar to what you did, right? You're knocking doors. I mean, we're just out beating the pavement, which makes it interesting when I fast forward to Annexus because I was an advisor and the advisors are our customer, right? I also own a distribution company and the distribution companies are our customers. So when I've been part of the whole food chain, I understand what it's like to sit in front of a client. So when we start to design product and brochures and you're trying to create this story, so at 25 years old, I have 60 employees, and fortunately, knock on wood, I didn't have any payroll checks, Brian, bounce, because I actually chose, and fortunately, I wasn't married, didn't have kids, because I don't think I would have let them live underneath a bridge, which basically what happened is we just, we were grinding it out, trying to be successful. And
yeah, it's hard, man.
I was telling Rachel the other day that, I know what it's like to get your power turned off because I'm trying to make payroll, and that was more important. But I had this vision of what we wanted to be able to do and how we wanted to be able to grow this business, and not ever thinking that we'd be in this situation. I mean, this isn't real. But what I did know is that if I continue to grind it out and continue to outwork everybody and be the first one there, last one to leave kind of an attitude, and weekends, I mean, I knew I'd get through that, and we've done that, and we've drawn on that several times along the way, and now we've built some really cool infrastructure and lots of companies. Nexus is one of them, but lots of companies that we've been able to do. So,
I don't think a lot of people understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur.
A lot of entrepreneur and entrepreneur.
You have to be crazy, dude. You have to be crazy in a lot of ways. I remember, and we've got some of the most well-respected entrepreneurs in our business. Last week, we announced Patrick Bet-David and PHP joining. I mean, just the stories from him growing up in Iran and then coming here and just creating this massive organization. I can think of Lenny Anderson and what he created at Golden Care and the success he's seen. And if you think about, I remember when we started Integrity, my partners Tom Sheath and Mike Wingate, who I know you're good friends with, they both grew up in Nebraska. It was so hard in those early days. I remember having to borrow money to survive. So you're talking about like paying people's paychecks before you paid the power. We were the last ones to ever get paid. I mean, it was years. I remember when I got married in '08, I was borrowing money, literally on a line of credit that I had to get Tom and Mike to co-sign. Thank God they were as generous as they were, but we were all in it together because we were all broke, and we were all trying to we knew we could get there, but we were also just so committed to serving people with their life and health needs. And we knew if we could get enough people to believe in that and we could work harder than anybody else, that we could be successful. And it has always been this kind of grinding mentality. And for you and for me and others, it's never really been about the money. It's been an interesting byproduct. But it's really been about this passion to innovate and create something nobody else has ever done before and serve people in a better way. And I think that that kind of grinder mentality, as you just talked about, is really one of the reasons that Integrity's been as such a success as we have been, because we're made up of a lot of people like you and me that didn't grow up with silver spoons in our mouth, didn't grow up with anything else. We just grew up with this determination. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to make sure that we're here to win. And Sean Mike, listen, if Sean Mike were here, Sean Mike would say, listen, I am going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And what's great about that is if we all as partners are thinking, hey, let's all keep doing that, there's no telling where we can go.
And I think in my situation, I was already really, really ultra successful before I started Annexus.
Yeah.
And Don, my partner, came from corporate America. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I tell this when I do speaking engagements. The last time I actually got a W-2, I was 16 years old, putting up chain link fence. True story, right? Other than a little bit of money from my parents in college. I mean, we're talking about bootstrapping it, right? Yeah. So really for me, after we got Annexus going and having success, it hasn't been about me for a long time. I tell you what, we've changed a lot of families' lives, a lot of people that work for us. It's about our people, right? And growing people and letting them have an opportunity to grow. And it just so happens, obviously, Nexus has been a huge success on top of that and because of that. So it's the whole grind thing, right? It's like when I shoot you a text at 4 o'clock in the morning and you respond within a second. I mean, you got to be a little bit twisted to respond to the text messages at 4 a.m. and even send them, for that matter, right?
Well,
so
we probably texting at midnight as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're just going, 24/7. So
that was actually last night.
It could have been this morning, right?
It was both. Yeah, it was both. You texted me this morning. I was like, damn, it is early. And you're like, wheels up, let's go.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Let's roll.
I love that. So did you ever think you'd be where you are today?
I think anybody that ever thinks they'd be in this situation is foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. I mean, I think it's just not real. It's not real to have this kind of success and be able to, affect people's lives. I mean, my dad dropped out of school in 6th grade. It's not a real good start, on what expectations are, right? So I think that, for me, I've never set goals. I sincerely have never set goals. Because I feel like if you set the goal and you actually hit it, you actually think you'll accomplish something. And I don't know, maybe you just set the goal too damn low, right? And so from my perspective, it's been about, how successful can you have for your morning? How successful can your afternoon be? How successful can your week be? I get that part. And I think because of that, we're here, right? I couldn't say, geez, boy, someday I want to grow this business and I want to be able to partner with Integrity. And that's just unrealistic. But what's not, the one thing you can control, as I told my son AJ, is you can control your effort.
Yeah.
You can control how hard you work.
Right.
You can control that. You can't control the amount of success you're going to have, but you can control that. And if you do the little things, right, cinch by the inch, trial by the mile kind of thing, a little at a time, you keep grinding it, good things happen on the backside, and that's what we've been able to do. So yeah, there's no way we could think about being in this situation.
It is pretty humbling as you think about just that incremental success over time. Then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, we're actually accomplishing something. But I know you're not done. Like, this is just the beginning. Like, you and I've been like, hey, no, the only way we're doing this is to keep going even harder and faster, which maybe you do have to be a little crazy to be an entrepreneur. But I think by coming together, we can now accomplish more. Now, why do you think that now is the right time for Integrity and Nexus to come together to try to serve more people?
Well, I mean, you know better than I do in the sense that, when is the right time, right? Where are you at in life, right? And I think for me, again, this hasn't been about me for a long time. When you and I started getting serious about having these conversations, and I started to see how my people that work for me have an opportunity to grow, have an opportunity to be part of something bigger, right? That was the clincher for me. I mean, obviously we've got our economics on a transaction, that's fine, but it's really about that. And so because of that, that's what kept me excited about getting to this point. And because of that and the partnership and commitment we've made to Integrity and the other Integrity companies, because of that is the part that keeps me going. Plus, you know what? I'm just having so much damn fun. I've never had a job before. I literally have never had a job before. So it's kind of like, this is fun. We don't go to work, right? We go to have fun.
I think the same thing. And I think, you hit on something. Look, I think the American dream idea is a self-made person. Like, I got there, I pulled myself up, and I did it myself. You actually hit on something that I truly believe wholeheartedly in. I really don't believe anybody's self-made. I think you can drive outcomes, you can push harder, but if it's not about your people and working together, that's one of the reasons having the employee ownership plan that we've got, making everybody an owner, saying, let's all come together. If you even look at the trajectory of Integrity, like we were doing well, but when we made everybody employees, it just was a hockey stick. I mean, it just continued to grow. And the fact that I remember when we started kind of sitting down, we spent about 5 minutes talking about economics, and the rest of the time was talking about what does this mean for our team? Yep. Because I've got the best team in the world. We're sitting here in Scottsdale. You have the nicest office I think I've ever been into. I mean, this is remarkable office that you've built, and you've got just such an impressive team that we just met with and talked to, and they're excited, but they're also like, they're all bought in, and they're like, how do we go faster, right? I mean, this is such a special thing.
Yeah, so again, the timing is just all of the above, right? And obviously the incredible amount of success that you guys have had, and we still have the conversations, you're just getting started, right? And we see how, from a product development perspective, we're able to build products, Brian, for all the Integrity families at various places, and be able to build product that actually fits, right? And continue to grow, and then continue to do business, inside the family. So that the timing's, just great for all of us.
And ultimately help even more people. It's going to be amazing. Now, as we kind of wrap up, I know you're a sports fan, and we've had some really remarkable athletes as part of the Integrity family. We got Steve Young. Yep. I mean, he was pretty good. Yeah. He wasn't bad. Okay. We had Brent Abernathy won a gold medal in the Olympics in baseball. We've had some other great athletes, but I don't think we've ever had a football team owner. And you're the owner of the Arizona Rattlers arena football team. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so arena football, Arizona Rattlers. I bought them in 2011, and this kind of goes back full circle of what we've just been talking about, right? When I bought the team, first of all, I was a fan. And the reason I was a fan, I'm a big football guy, but in 1992, I couldn't afford to go to like a real football game. The only one I could afford sincerely was to go to the arena football team. And so I had season tickets every single year for 17, 18 years. Then ultimately, when the team came available for sale, I bought it. They won a couple championships in the 90s. And I remember the press conference the day that we closed the deal, and I had a press conference downtown. And back when I used to go to the games, it was a full house, 15,000 people. When I bought it, there was 2,000 fans. And I told everybody, I said, we will bring this thing back to where it was in the 90s, and we're going to win again. Yeah. Then I had a staff meeting that week, just to give a little background, and I told everybody at the staff meeting, I said, effective today, you will no longer be ashamed to say you work for the Arizona Rattlers, because we're going to change it. So we did, and my first year in 11, we took it to the championship and lost in the last play. And then we won 3 championships in a row. Wow. Parade for us downtown, and have won since we've won 4 championships. So it's not a lucrative endeavor. Matter of fact, it's actually kind of dumb. It's actually really dumb. But I'll tell you what, it's financially dumb. But I'll tell you what, we've got some great relationships, and that's really a community thing. I mean, the Rattlers have been here for 30 years, and we've won 4 championships as I've had it. But we switched the whole thing, switched the whole mentality around. And you go to a game, we have probably a playoff game on Sunday. We'll pack the house. It's kind of fun. So from a local perspective, we've got a lot of great relationships from that.
So I've only been to one arena football league game. It's like a party, man.
It's fast.
It's super fast. It's shorter field.
High scoring.
Super fast, high scoring, a lot of passes, a lot of offense. Yeah. Not as much defense, which is cool with me. We're all gas, no brakes around here anyway. Right. And it's a party. It's a fun event. So.
Yeah, we pack them in there, and it's a lot of fun and crazy music, and our guys can play. Most of the guys that are on our team, were in the NFL and didn't make it. They want to come someplace and play, so they get a chance to play.
So, chance for a championship here?
You know what? We got a couple playoff games coming up, as I told you earlier. Play the Arena Bowl in Vegas on August 13th, and if we win the next 2, get there again and see. And because I pay for everything, I'm the one that loses all the money. I get to design the rings the way I want, and I get to spend the amount of money I want on the ring. So it's actually fun. It's really fun.
That is amazing. Well, listen, we could not be more excited to now have fun with you. I think what we're about to build here, we get to design it all. Just like you designed the ring, like we get to design our future here. And with the partners that we've got here at Integrity and all the incredibly dedicated team members, like we're going to create something incredibly fun and exciting. And together, I can't wait to see what we do and how many people we're going to serve is going to be remarkable as well. So, hey, buddy, thank you so much. I love you more than you know.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We're super excited to partner with Ron Shurts, Don Dady, the rest of the entire Annexus team, and welcome them to the Integrity family. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. This is an exciting podcast, and it's going to be an even more exciting announcement that you'll see come out real soon. Thanks again. God bless you. Take care and have a great day.
Thanks, guys.